right, welcome back to episode 211. How's it going, Noel?
Going good. I like this weather.
Oh, this is beautiful.
This-
Yes.
Yeah,
70s, all low 70s.
low 70s.
I'd take it a little chillier. I like
Yeah,
to be
a
able to
little
wear a
chillier.
sweatshirt.
Yeah.
So we have everyone here. Robin's here. Gail's here. She likes the warmth. Jerry's here. And we got an old friend with us
Yeah.
tonight. Someone that oh God, it's been a while. I'm
It's
so
been a
happy to see him. But
Yeah.
we're going to talk about tonight something that a lot of you out there might know, but maybe not. On the ballot this year, it's New York State Proposition 1. It's the amendment to protect against unequal treatment. I mean, if you haven't read it, here, I'll read it real quick how it's written on the ballot. It says this proposal would protect against unequal treatment based on ethnicity, national origin, age, disability, and sex, including sexual orientation, gender identity, and pregnancy. It also protects unequal treatment based on reproductive health care and autonomy. Let's bring in our guest right now, Dennis Hannon, so we can talk about all of this. Hey, Dennis.
Hey, everybody. It's been a while. Thanks for having me back.
Hey, Dennis.
We're happy you're here.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, how you been?
I'm hanging in there. I'm keeping the roof over my head during the day and, still fighting garbage like this that's coming out of New York State at night. So,
Right. All right, let's get into Proposition 1. I read it. I mean, that's how it looked on the ballot. Tell us more, Dennis.
So I guess, did anybody hear about Prop 1 and that it was going to be on the ballot November 5th, other than reading my Facebook? Or did you know about this before? I'm curious to understand who has heard about this and who hasn't.
Well, I got a ballot sent home. That's how I noticed. Not from you. If I didn't see it from you, it was that was the ballot. It came out. I saw the ballot. Actually, it was mailed to my son. He goes, "Oh, look what's on the back," and then we started looking at it. Did you know?
No.
No. Did you? You didn't know? No, you guys didn't know. No.
No.
Around this table, we didn't know, and we're generally know what's going on.
I knew by you.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people, and that seems to be the consensus, that a lot of people had no idea that something called the supposed Equal Rights Amendment was going to be on the ballot up for vote, a popular vote, this November 5th. And so they've snuck it in there, this amendment. Now, keep in mind, this is an amendment to the New York State Constitution, so very difficult to undo this. I think it has to pass 2 consecutive legislative sessions in a row and then go into another vote in order to get it undone. So codified in the amendment, a huge deal. It's a part of our Constitution. And really, we already have an Equal Rights Amendment from 1972. What this is this is an expansion upon that original Equal Rights Amendment from 1972. And the goal of the Equal Rights Amendment originally was to provide protections against discrimination for women because all citizens would be viewed as equal regardless of sex. That was the original intent of the ERA. And of course, what happened was it was taken a hold of, and they're using the fancy language like Equal Rights Amendment to push something that actually removes protections from different classes of people. So I'm with what's called the Coalition to Protect Kids for New York, which is a nonpartisan ballot issue committee registered with the Board of Elections, and we're comprised of all different walks of life. So nonpartisan, right? They're gay, straight, trans, black, brown, independent, conservative, Democrats, and we're all rallying with one another in unity on defeating Prop 1 this November 5th. So what this does is it adds additional language. You had mentioned it earlier. Some of the ones we'll focus on are sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, pregnancy outcomes, reproductive health care, and autonomy. Now, it's important to note, the interesting thing in here is age. Age is defined as from first breath to last breath. There are no age minimums specified in this Equal Rights Amendment. Okay. Now, legal forms of age discrimination include sexual consent laws. And, there's minimums on smoking, drinking, driving. So when you combine autonomy, bodily autonomy, with age as what's considered discriminating factors now, you give a child a right to make any kind of medical decision they want, regardless of age, without a parent's consent. And if the parent objects to that treatment, then what happens is they could be, well, first they'll, depending on the treatment, they might be labeled.
Right.
But they'll be considered as interfering with medical treatment, and it could be seen as discriminatory. And what this does is it leaves important medical decisions where the child are conflicted with what the parent wants to the courts through expensive litigation. And then it's up to the courts to decide how this will play out and how this ambiguous wording should be interpreted. So another thing too, gender identity. What does this mean for women in women's sports, or just women's protected spaces in general, if anybody can identify as a woman?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And that's the problem that we have. This, listen, everybody wants equal rights. We already have equal rights. We live in America. Every citizen is afforded the same rights as everybody else. What this Equal Rights Amendment does, this new proposal, is it pits protected classes against each other, because now you can't differentiate. If you can't, protected classes, right? Women, men, children, elderly. If you can't discriminate based on age and gender identity or gender expression, what happens to women? What happens to benefits for elderly, seniors? What happens to sexual consent laws? You're going to start seeing sexual consent laws and things that were put in place to protect minors starting to get more relaxed.
I believe that for the longest time.
I think we've been moving in that direction.
Yeah, I think so too. And this is just now we're just pushing the ball down the field. I mean, it's a scary thought, man. You're right. What's it do to women? What's it do? I don't know, Dennis. I mean, the thing about the age, that's huge, right? That's the whole, to me, that's the whole, no, it's not, but it's the whole thing is age. How are you describing, how are you making age? It's your first breath to your last breath. So that's it, man. I mean, that's it right there.
And there's no minimums defined whatsoever.
It's wrong.
So we've given children the right to consent with this. And just to give you an idea of what this is the replacement of parents with state and women with ideology. Even in the proposed wording, they're proposing that they change. In the new wording, it'll get rid of his and her and replace it with their. In this amendment, that's one of the other changes. No more gender specific pronouns, right?
Yeah,
And is
Go ahead, Robert.
it fair to say, Dennis, that people are making it look like this is protecting abortion in some way, when in New York State, I mean, there's already clear protections for abortion?
You nailed it. So back in April, I made a post and I said that a specific, I'm going to remain nonpartisan here, but a specific political party is going to piggyback gender affirming care for minors on abortion, and they're going to call it non-discriminatory healthcare. I said that back in April. You can find the post on my Facebook. That's exactly what this is. So this isn't an abortion amendment, and that seems to be the argument by those proponents of this amendment. It doesn't say abortion. It's not called an abortion amendment, and they're holding on to the fact that it says pregnancy outcomes and reproductive health care. But let me tell you something. We already have abortion, and you mentioned it, Robin, codified into New York State law. I believe since 2019.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up, actually.
Okay. I don't think we got. Yeah, New York State's good. I mean, we're one of the states. I mean, you're fine.
New York's Reproductive Health Act. So they're trying to blow the panic whistle on this, the dog whistle, and they're trying to say that Republicans or conservatives want to take away your ability to receive women's health or pregnancy out. No, it has nothing to do with that. This is a nonpartisan issue. Access to abortion has been codified in New York since 2019 under the Reproductive Health Act. So voting no against Prop 1 will not restrict anyone's ability to receive abortion. However, under this proposed amendment, what it would allow is it would allow a adolescent girl, say 13, 11, whenever puberty starts, to receive an abortion without the parents' consent or knowledge.
There you go. And we're
That's
heading.
what it does. That's
And
what it does, because we've given them bodily autonomy with no age minimum.
Right. And I mean, and that will end up, that goes right kind of hand in hand. It's with me, maybe it's just my mind, with the whole thing of pedophilia. Go ahead.
Who's pushing this
Gail.
Proposition 1?
Who's pushing Proposition 1, Gail asked?
Yeah, so Prop 1, the sponsors of Prop 1 are Senator Liz Krueger and Assembly Member Rebecca Seawright. They also have several other bills that have been tabled in the legislature that are positioned to pass pending a successful Prop 1. Some of those bills include allowing minors to make their own medical decisions without a parent's knowledge or consent, treatment for sexually transmitted diseases to minors without a parent or guardian's consent, comprehensive sexuality instruction for students grades K through 12, and an expansion on the original DASA, which directs schools to allow transgender students in bathrooms and sports that align with their chosen identity. Now, those are the sponsors. Now, there are some, other politicians on the blue side of the aisle that are rallying behind this. There was some support from the NYCLU, of course, but I believe that a coalition was formed in support of this. And I'll have to check that now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's making it all easier for a young person to, I don't know, man. It seems like it's making it easier for, like, if a little girl gets pregnant, little girl, 11, 10, the person can just get her to have an abortion. The adult.
Yes.
They did, right. Who would be the offender yeah, we're going down it. Go ahead, Dennis. There was somewhat other group?
Yeah, I can't find the name of it.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I don't even want to mention it, even if I could, just to give them that kind of publicity. But there are supporters. Kathy Hochul is supporting this all the way. Kathy Hochul. It's got a lot of partisan support for a nonpartisan issue. Is really it. So they're making it out to be a partisan issue, even though it's really not. This is complete garbage. It's so ambiguous. If abortion was what this amendment was supposed to be about, they need to go back to the drawing board, or they need to split it up into two different amendments, because this is total garbage, and they're banking on the fact that people are going to flip over that ballot and feel like a jerk if they vote no against something that has equal rights in the name of it.
Exactly. They don't know what they're voting for. They just see it on the ballot. They go, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, of course. Equal, yeah. I don't want anyone to be unequal.
Right.
So
okay.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Dennis. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so what it does is, right, everybody's equal, but some are more equal than others. Because I would argue that marginalizing a woman or a young girl who has valid safety and fairness concerns about a biological male in their protected space, that's not equality, that's supremacy. You're marginalizing that person, making special accommodations for that person, while the exception becomes the rule.
Yeah.
That's what this isn't. This does nothing good for women. It replaces women with ideology. Anybody can identify as such, and now they get constitutional protections for doing so. And by the way, you're the bigot, and you're discriminating if you have a problem with it.
Yeah.
And then,
What this really allows, we know from me being on your show many times in the past, that a lot of this stuff, the biological men and women's sports, changing in the locker rooms that and using the restroom that aligns with their chosen identity. A lot of this stuff, it's already happening in schools today.
Right.
What they want to
There
do-
was a girl raped, wasn't there?
What's
I
that?
believe, I know there was a girl raped somewhere down south in the locker room.
There was, and there's more and more cases of this. I was
I
just
think Riley Gaines was mentioning it. He even brought it up one night.
Yeah. And you know, so there's more and more cases of this. And we need to keep the protected classes protected. And what this does is it pits them against each other. Because what New York has done is they have taken your ability to differentiate using age, right, and biological factors to differentiate these different groups of people. And they've associated that with discrimination. And then they associate discrimination with prejudice.
It's going right back to being afraid to be politically correct anymore.
Exactly. And so what this does is it removes everyone's ability to be able to differentiate these different groups of people, men, children, women, elderly.
Well, and they've essentially done away with any kind of rights for parents.
Oh, totally. Yeah. So for example, if you have a child, just for example's sake, that is 12 years old, and they tell the school that they want to be, that they have feelings that maybe they're a little confused about their gender, they will get that child involved in counseling and therapy, and they don't have to notify the parents at all. And they can continue to groom that child onto medical treatment without the parents' consent. And then when the parents do object to it, or a parent objects to it, that parent, right, they'll be labeled as their views are discriminating. They'll be interfering with the medical treatment of the child, since the child has full bodily autonomy now to make their own medical decisions. All kinds of things. And then it's left to the courts to decide through costly litigation.
So what they're doing is they're saying, everybody have your kids because they don't belong to you, they belong to the government now. So
State.
just keep popping out kids because then the government gets them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's not your kid. When that child is born, it's no longer yours. From the
Right.
day that it's born, it belongs to the
Oh,
government.
then the government continued to sex traffic them like they're doing already.
Yeah. Exactly.
But that's what it is.
That's exactly what it is. It's sad. So there's a lot at stake.
Wow.
And we
Okay.
need to vote no to Prop 1. This is just too ambiguous in the wording. And I'd like to think that the representatives who crafted this aren't that stupid. I think this was done purposely.
Yeah, the age thing is just the biggest, the first breath of that whole thing. That's it. I mean, there it is. It's finally in, you know what I mean? There it is, people. I mean, there it is. You got to vote no to it because of that alone. Because that for me, in my eyes, it opens up everything. Everything now is just is a free for all for any age.
Yeah. Any child you have isn't yours. So
Yeah.
what people need to understand is when you have a baby, it's not yours anymore. You had it for the government. You're not having it to have a family. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
It's sad because a lot of people, they can't fight this. You know, they want to make, and how does this affect vaccine schedules with kids? There's a lot of what ifs. I mean, here's a scenario too that this isn't out of the realm of possibilities, even from a medical standpoint. How do medical providers provide accurate medical treatment if they're not allowed to discriminate in some way based on their age and biological sex if that doesn't align with their chosen identity? So for example, if I have abdominal cramping and obviously I'm a biological male, but I identify as a woman and I go to a doctor and I say I want a pregnancy test, by saying no, that could be viewed as discriminatory.
Wow. Well, yeah.
Because
It
my
has to be.
chosen gender identity is female.
Yeah, it would have to be. Yeah, right. It's so wild. It's so twisted. It would have to be considered that if this kind of stuff continues, because how could you not? I think we've had this discussion here. I think we had an argument one time about it. About if they're going to do this, then it is what it. Then it happens. Like then it is. Like if you're telling me that's a woman, well now, even though I might think it's not, it don't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh yeah, they are going to play in sports because you know why? Because they're allowed. They're going to protect that. No one can stop it if you don't stop it ourselves.
And what this is about too, don't kid yourself, because I mentioned that they're already doing this in schools and they're buying along with this radical gender ideology. This is a legal safety net. So when those kids are old enough and they detransition and they want to hold the medical practitioners and the medical personnel accountable for what happened to them, they can't. Because now the doctors and the therapists that are grooming people into this ideology, these children into this ideology, they can say that they were just following the law. When you try to hold a school, when you try to sue a school for allowing a hulking biological male to level your daughter in the playing field and seriously injure her, you can't hold that school accountable because it's no longer their policy, it's the law.
Yeah, right.
So this is to protect all of those who are doing what they're doing now.
Yeah, it just really, it's hard to even wrap your head around it because it just wipes everything you know that you know is different. Everything is wiped away.
Yeah.
The age factor here is disgusting. I don't know how anyone could listen to that and not feel disgusted because you know where it's going. The more I keep letting little children have this kind of a power, then basically then it's not going to stop.
Yeah, you can have a child that actually sues to smoke or drink because that's a form of age discrimination. So if this passes, what you're going to see is you're going to see a ton of lawsuits because those bumpers, those protections can now be challenged. And this is in the New York State Constitution. It doesn't get higher than that, right? So you may have some laws that provide protections for children, like legal drinking age, legal smoking age. They're in direct conflict with this. And ultimately, a lot of they will be challenged. And like I said, it will be up to the courts to decide through costly litigation.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, and leaving it up to them.
Yeah, and now the judge is your daddy.
Ooh, yeah. This is a big one here forever. I mean, I don't care if you vote for. I don't care who you vote for on the front. You better vote for this on the back. This might be more important than anything else that you got to vote for this November. I mean, I know about the front, but the back is big. Don't forget to vote. And this has to be, and it's going to be right, Dennis. It'll be an uphill battle because of where we live to try to defeat this, I assume.
Totally. There's a lot of organizations hopping on board against Prop 1. Go figure. There are a lot of them that are partisan, but there's also a lot of nonpartisan groups involved in this. Even some Democrats that are saying, hey, this is wrong. We can't do this. This is too broad in scope. This is too ambiguous. This isn't clear enough. So we are getting a lot of support there. But the problem is, from a coalition perspective, we're outspent probably about over $230 to 1. So if you want to learn more about this, go to coalition or protectkidsny.com. There's also a Facebook page, facebook.com/coalition to protect kids NY. And you can stay up to date on this. We've been having press conferences, rallies, just outreach, speaking engagements, a lot of town halls that I've done related to this, just to inform the public, because to your point, it is an uphill battle and people are going to flip over that ballot and go, well, I don't know what that is, but you kind of be an asshole to vote against it. Well, you got to vote no on Prop 1 because women's sports, women's protected spaces, children, all of that is at stake.
Yeah. Dennis, I want to, before we let you go, I wanted to ask you something on a different note, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
Because I love talking to you about this. What do you think about, just because I don't know if we'll talk, I'm sure we'll talk, but maybe we'll have you back. We'll definitely have you back if you want to come on. Like the election coming up, can you give me any kind of, how do you see it happening? How do you see it unfolding in your mind? How do you see it, if you could say right now, how do you see this presidential election going?
I think it's going to be tough I've been seeing a lot of support for Harris Waltz, especially in this area. I've seen a lot of signs popping up. I think that there's going to be more assassination attempts on President Trump.
I do too.
Specifically with his plane. Alex Jones, I know everybody wants to laugh at him, but Alex Jones called that with the plane bit like a month or two ago, and he was spot on about that. And so I think there's going to be more attempts. I think that even if Donald Trump did win, there were some representatives who made very pointed remarks on what they would do if he did win, and they would try to overturn those results. So it's funny how they're already planning that. I think it's, even if he did win, I think that, again, you're going to have bureaucrats that try to force the will of the American people and try to overturn that somehow, some way.
It doesn't look either that the Democrats are calling him a threat, a danger, a sexual predator, saying all these things about him and making
whatever
him,
they can.
yeah, whatever they can to make people hate him. And
polling wise, he's doing very well. Now that all depends on which poll you look at. In some, you'll find that he's up 4 points. Others, he's down 4 points. So I don't even trust the polls.
No,
anymore.
I don't either.
One thing I wanted to ask you too, because this is something I say all the time. Unfortunately, Robin, you have to hear it. When the next day comes after the election and everyone's talking crazy, okay? One side says that our democracy's at stake. The other side says, oh my God, we're going to fall. It's, you know how it's going. There's just all kinds of hyperbole, all kinds of stuff. What happens the day after? Because at the point that happens, that your side doesn't win, I'm expecting, with those kinds of things being said, you would assume there'll be some kind of uprising, wouldn't you say?
Either way, I think you probably nailed it. There will be some groups that'll maybe be a little bit more violent than others. I hope that it doesn't come to that, but I think that is the climate that we're in, right? There's a lot hinging on this election. I know who I'm voting for. So I hope the candidate that I want to win wins, because we really we need to move on. We can't continue this trajectory in America. We can't.
Yeah. All right.
Common sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. Common sense, America first policies, America first trade, make people pay their fair share, close our borders. A nation without borders has no sovereignty. Send these illegals back. I think you can guess who I'm voting for here.
Right.
I got a good
you know what
one.
a good thing is though too is I've looked it up, and Trump has a lot more followers and stuff than Kamala does. So at least on social media, I mean, he has a lot more supporting followers than she does.
Yeah, it really does feel as though they would have thrown anyone in there.
Yeah.
It's that's what they've done anyways, because she never got a vote, so they just put her. It doesn't matter. They just
But
put her
what
in.
about that? You know what I mean? Not much about that she was just thrown in there.
Yeah,
Nobody voted on her, nothing.
No, and what accomplishments does, and I know I'm breaking my nonpartisan
That's all right.
here on this, but since we moved on to a topic that's more political, what has Kamala Harris done? Those that vote for Kamala Harris are voting purely based on identity politics, because she's a woman, it's not Trump, or she's a woman of color, an Indian woman, right? So she has no real accomplishments that she can rally on. You have somebody that did nothing for the last 3 years, and she's promising you if she gets a promotion, she's going to do something that she could have done 3 years ago.
She's still going on the fact that she's a black female.
Yeah.
She has not said, I'm not a black female. She has never done that. She still wants people to think she is a black female.
All right. I have one question. It's my only question of the night. Now you can hit me as hard as you want to. If a president and vice president's number one job is to protect their country and its citizens, would we agree on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. If it is with full intent and purpose that they open the border and invite 100 illegals from over 180 countries with the promise of free everything, right? We agreement?
Yep.
We're still agreeing? And Americans get killed and raped and sex trafficking blossoms. My question is this: how is that not treason? I mean, am I out of line thinking that way? I'm open to. I say it's treasonous, but that's me.
And treason is the reason for the season this November.
Well, that's how I think. I mean, you're supposed to protect and help your country. They do the opposite, in my opinion.
Yep.
And it's purposeful. It's with full intent.
And we talked about what that intent was on many shows and I remember it on Citizens United, right? It's the Cloward and Piven strategy. It's to overwhelm the system. That's part of it. But part of opening the floodgates is this is a new voter base. We're starting to see a lot of cases now where glitches are causing illegal immigrants to get absentee ballots in the mail. You know, they're door knocking on where these illegal immigrants are housed, and they're asking them if they're registered to vote and who they're voting for, and they're saying, yes, I'm voting for Kamala. So we knew what this was about. We called it a while ago.
Yeah.
We know that our elections aren't secure. We know this. This
Right.
isn't hyperbole. This isn't you know, me trying to be funny. These are the facts. They're not secure. We have so many dead people on our voter rolls, and for some reason, nobody thinks that it's a good idea to clean them up, or when they do, they get shot down. We need to do better here. There's no reason why Argentina can hand count millions of paper ballots in a day and have a very secure election, and it takes us over a week for some swing states with computers.
Yeah.
France does the same thing too, doesn't it? I heard France, they do it in one day.
Most places do it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
What do we know? Months?
Oh, you never know. It could be 2 weeks, could be months, it could be, yeah.
I really don't know this. I'm serious. I really don't know. Are legal immigrants allowed to vote?
Go ahead, Dennis.
They're not allowed to vote.
Oh,
But
they're not?
a lot of them are being signed up and registered to vote, according to a lot of reports, a lot of undercover work that's being done. You can go out there and look it up. I've seen the videos. I mean, this is legit. There's constantly new articles even coming out in the mainstream media that are saying, like I mentioned earlier, there's glitches in the system where you have all of these illegals that are receiving ballots in the mail or voter registration forms. Videos of illegals saying that they're registered to vote and who they intend on voting for. So no, they're not supposed to, but we knew that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
So it was their intent the whole time. And that's my point about treason. I mean, I'm sorry. And I'm not the only one. I've listened to Maria Bartolomo on Fox News and others bring it and said, you know what, I'm sorry. Because I've been in law. It's treason.
But
What's-
you're not doing it.
But what's the plan for the day after? If Kamala wins, they need to have a plan.
I
Because-
guess so.
Because if that's the case, then how do you sit there and let it go?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? These people on TV can yell that all they want, but what are they going to do the next day? Because there's going to be the next day, and chances are, with the way things go here, she's going to win. So I think you got to look at it that way. What happens next day?
Nothing.
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 So why the hell do they say that on TV? Stop saying it. They're not doing nothing.
No.
At the
Right.
point that it's that, we need to get up and do something about it.
Who's in the position of really doing something then? Who is with the Republican
We are.
Party?
The people need to be in a position to do something about it, because we can no longer rely on our elected officials to do
No,
the
I
best
agree.
interest of the American people and citizens. This is about people getting the balls, getting the backbone to stand up and say enough is enough. I don't care what you call me. You can call me hateful. You can call me a bigot. But you know what? I'm America first. I believe in the Constitution. I believe that all citizens are afforded the same rights as the one next to us. We're not going to play this division, this identity politics, and we're going to take this country back because you represent us. And until people are willing to say that publicly, like here, and actually do something about it and protest and hit the streets peacefully, we're going to continue to see the same things. You can't do this from your couch.
You'd have to have massive
Willing to be
protest. Massive.
and willing to go to jail.
Yeah.
Willing to lose things. Willing to lose almost you could lose everything.
Yeah.
If-
I protest almost every Saturday now for the
Do
coalition.
you really?
Yeah, I do.
There you
I've held rallies. I've done this. I've held press conferences. And you know what?
I saw you.
Yeah, we're gonna keep hitting the streets, and we're gonna organize, and we're gonna get bigger. And every time they try to force the will of the American people, the opposition is going to become louder, because the American people, especially New Yorkers, I think I can speak for them when I say that we've had enough of this shit. We're tired of it.
Yeah.
What do we do with these people though that keep voting for the Democrats? Keep doing it. Who knows better than people that live in New York how bad their policies are?
Eventually, it's gonna keep getting worse and worse until hopefully they wake up. I don't know. They've been so brainwashed. I feel like if you're not awake now, then there's really no hope for you.
Yeah.
What is it? 5 counties of New York State wins the state, I think, or something like that.
Well,
So
just think about it, right? They turned us all into narcs during COVID. They set up hotlines so you could report your neighbors for unlawful gatherings, right?
Yes.
Based on a
Wasn't
certain
that done? Tampon Tim did that too, didn't he? He started that snitch thing, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And there's other things like that they're doing, and these people are drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
The government is not there to help you. Nobody is going to help you. Help yourself.
exactly. You know what, Dennis? I will give you a break and let you go because I know I turned to another way. But let's go back real fast. It's Proposition 1. We have to vote no.
Yeah, flip the ballot, vote no, Prop 1, protectkidsny.com, facebook.com/coalition of Protect Kids NY.
All right, Dennis. Well, thanks for joining us, of course. But you're our good friend, so come back whenever you want, or you need anything from us. We're always here.
I appreciate it, and Robin, you've been in my thoughts and prayers, and you'll continue to be, and everybody that's on. I forget who's all there, but I appreciate it. It was really nice chatting with you, and I'm hoping that I can find more time to come back. Hopefully, either way after November 5th.
Yes,
That'll be awesome.
It was so nice to talk to you and connect with you again, Dennis.
Treason, Dennis. Treason.
Be safe out there, Dennis.
Treason's the reason for the season. Vote no on Prop 1.
I like that. I like it.
Be safe.
Thanks for what you
All right.
do.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, Dennis Hannon.
All right. Well, he's something.
One of the good guys.
Yeah, he is.
He's so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Mhm.
Wow, he's got grit.
And he would have never, ever
grit.
suspected he'd be doing this. Remember when we first talked to him, even just doing a podcast?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And now he's out there doing all this.
Good for him.
He is good. He does.
Yeah.
He's got
So I noticed, Noel, real quick, you online have started to get a little more into the presidential
I
thing.
have been.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
really.
I have been, and I always
Good.
tried keeping it like quiet. Like I
Mhm.
never wanted to get
Right.
involved. I never wanted to say who I was going to vote for because I
Right.
can't stand listening to other people complain or bitch or come after you. But now it's getting to the point where I just see what's going on and it's pissing me off.
Right.
And if the other side can say stuff, like why the fuck can't I?
Right.
Like
Tessa too.
Tessa-
Tessa's been getting into it.
Huh?
Gail's been getting into it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Keep your mind and don't be afraid of people looking at you, pointing their finger and going, "Oh, she's a bigot."
Yeah, I'm sick
Yeah.
of it. Like if you
Or you're racist.
yeah,
You're a
you're-
Nazi or whatever.
you're homophobic,
Xenophobe.
do you know how many gays and lesbian people I know that are for Trump and everything? Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they are.
And
A lot of them are.
a lot of these people are so, I hate to say it, but they're
Transgender people that want.
yeah, there's a
They
lot.
don't like what's going on.
Yeah, it's just like they believe everything they read on the internet or online or on TV, and it's so annoying that they can't just.
The mainstream media is a huge machine, a lying machine that's at the root cause of a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
It really is. I don't know how we change that. I really don't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I know Elon Musk, there's target. He wants to buy ABC right out.
You need to just people got to turn it off and just come to our show, different shows like this.
Yeah.
I think
And I had somebody
because
message me today saying, "Well, Trump's a sex offender." I'm like, if I thought he was a sex offender, I wouldn't be.
Of course you would.
Like I just,
You wouldn't be doing.
I wouldn't be
support
doing
him.
that. And
Right.
you know,
And those-
Kamala is allowing all these sex offenders and rapists to come over, and I have children.
They released.
I need to protect, and I
Did you
don't
see
want
what came out this week? There's 425. This is an approximate 425 plus thousand criminals that were apprehended, then released into our country. Even though they caught them, they let them go. I forget. I'm going to be around about 13,000 plus were murders. They had murder convictions released into our country.
So if
15,000 were rapists.
let me ask a question here, you guys, and you might know better than me.
Yeah.
If Trump's elected, will he mass deport? Will it be
Yes.
mass all of it? He'll try to get as
Yes.
many as he can out.
Yes, absolutely, 1,000%.
Listen to that. I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone should probably put you, on that side.
He what he said too. He goes, "Get ready, you're going home." He goes, "We're not going to allow you to sit." Now, we saw something today, and I don't even know if you should talk about it, but there was
Oh, yeah.
okay. They're here is what we're going to tell you at our schools.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
No English.
Yes.
That means you're going to have interpreters. You're going to have probably advocates. That means if you're a teacher in your classroom, they're going to come in there with the child
Yeah.
and sit down. So here's the desk. Here's the thing, and they're sitting right there next to it.
Absolutely.
And the other kids are going to be going like this. That you know how kids are. They're not straight. You're trying to teach them. You're trying to teach them rounding,
Yeah.
right? And this is what they're. It's not right. It's just not right.
No.
Come in legally or don't come.
We might have to get to a point where, and this is going to be something that might be bad, where for a while there's just none, legal or illegal. We don't allow anyone,
Yeah.
and then then start again, and then reopen. But just
Was it Poland that did that?
I don't know how you get a handle on
I
it.
think Poland did that. They shut everything. No, you're not. Nobody's coming
You
in.
might have to.
I'd
I'm
have to do
thinking,
that. That's a great idea.
and I know people probably will get a little scared of it, but I think you might have to do it.
We should have had Scott come on the show
I know,
today for the second
Where's
half.
Scott?
I'd love to hear about the Trump.
He said it was a big turnout in Erie.
Oh, they're all going to Butler?
He went to Erie, Pennsylvania,
Oh, Erie.
and he said it was a huge turnout. I have Trump support details on my truck and have people pull up next to me and flip me off. Scott,
All right, Scott.
Good.
these are the ones we know about.
Yeah.
Trump said yesterday that 13,099 convicted felons were brought into the country recently.
And you know what I've noticed too?
Convicted. They were
Yeah.
convicted.
They open up.
The Democrats want to make it out to be like, and I'm actually registered as Democrat too, so, but they make it out to be like the Republicans and stuff and all the right side is all violent and stuff, but I've
They're
never
the
say
violent.
they're the most violent people. Like they're the ones shooting, trying to assassinate. They're
Well,
the
look
ones
at-
shooting up schools. I just seen it.
Look at the
last school
riots.
shooter was
Look at the riots.
But
Was it
it's
2020? Over 300 towns and cities were burned. 300. Cops were killed. Shop owners were beaten to death, robbed. Churches were burned. And it was unbelievable. And they built cities. What was that? The Summer of Love?
Portland,
Oregon. They built those
Seattle.
10 cities and everything and sealed it off and refused to have the national. Trump offered a National Guard to
Yep.
clean them out. Tim Walz
Said no.
refused, and his wife made the comment, "I love the smell of burning tires."
Jesus.
She loved the riots. Kamala Harris, and then raised money to get them out of jail.
they wanted to buy people. That's what they wanted.
Presley, the woman of Georgia, we need more unrest. We need more unrest. What's her name? Maxine Waters. She's another one. They were
Yeah.
promoting it. And so they call a Republican the band. They're violent.
Yeah.
It's a lie. And the mainstream media bans
We
it.
almost have to get rid of the term Republican and Democrat.
Yes,
soon,
I'm for it.
because
Yes.
I'm going to tell you what. I cannot identify as a Republican ever. You want to talk about identifying as something? I can't, or Democrat at all, because they're
I
they
don't
are
like the whole party.
evil.
I don't
But-
want party run. I'm a conservative now.
Right. That's
a
it.
constitutional conservative. I want to say, here's the plan. Use it. That's all.
And I'm serious when I asked Dennis this. Like, what happens now? I think someone's going to have to get into that. What happens the next day if she wins? What goes on?
What's the plan?
What's the next day?
You can't live with
She
it.
never seems to have a plan either.
Yeah, but
When you ask her
nothing.
questions, she doesn't
She's
nothing.
not allowed to even have press conferences. They're keeping her in the basement. They can't let her talk.
I think what really got to me and made me start speaking out too is when I watched that debate, how one-sided it was,
Yeah.
how they fact checked the fuck
Yeah.
out of Trump.
Right.
They didn't say one damn thing to Kamala.
And
Not one
everything
thing.
he said was spot on.
And there's
Everything
plenty
he
to
said
fact
was a
check.
lie. It was a total lie. He's not going to ban abortion.
No.
He simply gave it to the states.
But he knew what he was getting into. He said it.
He said it on
He
yeah.
said
So
that he would do it,
ABC's the worst.
what they were gonna do and how it was gonna turn out. And it turned out exactly
Yeah.
how it did. If Trump wins, there will be more assassination attempts. There will be riots like there was on January 6th. It's going to happen all over again if Trump wins. If Kamala Harris wins, nothing's going to happen.
And I've never seen anybody get so
I don't know about that.
brutal and
I don't
attack
know.
as much as people who are voting for Kamala Harris. Those people have no, they don't care. They'll attack you. They'll say the most fucked up things to you. If you don't agree with them, they call you everything in the book.
And they don't even want to know the truth either.
No, and then you try to tell them the truth and explain them.
But
They
you
don't want to
hit-
hear facts.
You
They
hit
don't
the
wanna
nail
hear-
on the head when you said they're the most violent.
Yeah.
What I learned out of all this is liberals are nothing what that word means. To be a liberal, to be open to other people's ideas, and to be, they are the exact opposite.
Yeah, if you don't
The
agree with
radical
them,
left.
you're-
There is no Democrat. Actually, in my opinion, there is no Democratic Party.
No,
It doesn't exist.
no, well, yeah, that's a good start. I wish they didn't. And then we could go to the Republican side and
Do the same thing.
delete them
Mhm.
because
We need to wipe the sun.
ultimately, guys, in my opinion, there are two parties that are huge, like businesses. I call them organizations or criminals. And there's a ton of money, right?
Yeah.
Ton of money. And there's someone there there's a lot of people there that are making a salary off donations.
Golden cat.
They control everything. That's the sick thing. Republicans or Democrats control the world.
And if you look on social media, like if you look on Instagram, Trump has 26.6 million followers. Kamala has,
On what?
just on Instagram alone,
Oh.
18.5
And-
million.
And she'll end up with 82 million votes.
Yeah.
That's what the crazy thing is.
Right.
Right.
Because they've
So?
cheated before. And I know people go, oh my God, you got to say that they cheated. They cheated to get Biden in. They're going to cheat to get Harrison. I don't even know why people are going to go out and vote. I really don't, because
I
I know
understand.
they're going to go out and frickin' cheat. And they don't, and then you got to hear the people cry. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're calling them cheaters. Yes, they cheated. They
Right.
found boxes and boxes of votes thrown on the
Shutting
side,
down voting areas.
but thrown on the side of
The road. And then ask yourself, why do the Republicans do nothing?
that's
Right.
exactly.
Because they don't want to do nothing because they don't care. Those parties don't care. They're happy. 'Cause you know
I
why?
see them arguing in Congress and stuff, and that's it.
That's not, but that's, you know what I mean? I don't do nothing. That's just talk for votes. I mean, what I'm saying is each side likes to be the minority.
Let me ask, what can be done? If you could wave a magic wand, and I'm doing this because I'm thinking I need the idea. What would you do? What would you do to stop this?
Stop what?
The two parties and this bullshit that's ruining our country.
Congress
Or-
has to take, well, they have
Let me
to
get right
take-
to it. Fighting?
They have to just take away both.
What's that?
They have to take away, I mean, in Congress or whatever, they have to vote it away. There are no more Democrats and no more Republicans.
It's not going to
We're
happen.
just gonna put people out there, whoever wants to run, and let the people look at what they're gonna do.
You're right
and vote
though
for
with the
them.
money.
Yep.
Money's at the source, is at the bottom of all of this.
Sure it is.
The name of our podcast is named after that. So the Citizens United versus the FEC thing, Federal Elections Commission, was what caused this. It started all. That's why it's named this podcast. It started all the money. Because before in the past, everybody couldn't just donate as much as you want. Corporations couldn't,
Yeah.
unions couldn't, you just couldn't do it. Like, think back to the days when, in the 80s, when it was just on your taxes. Do you want to donate $1 to the presidential campaign
Right.
of this guy or whatever? Now it's different.
Is that what super PACs you're talking about?
Yeah, all of that. All of this stuff. That's where I think they got, but they won't.
And where corporations were deemed to be individuals.
That's another, yes, they became it. You turned this, they did it. Both parties did it.
Scott said, send Galen to pull all the Democrats' teeth. Scott, I have it on video. I was thinking about posting the video, but then I'm like, yeah, then I'll get killed. But I have a really good video of it.
Yeah, he did warn about it. Dennis.
Send Gail to the border.
Yeah,
Yes.
That'll turn them around.
This party system has gotten too big. It is what George Washington said. They really don't care. I mean, you can have Trump there and yeah, he cares. But guess what? He's got a list of people behind him that really don't give a fuck. They don't care.
Right.
It's just
I
easy.
think people though, like Elon Musk, I think people like Kennedy.
Yeah.
I think those are people that will help. We're never going to get this perfect situation, but we can't start the trend the other way. I'm hoping. There's a lot of people who agree with this.
Yeah.
Might be too late.
It might be too late. That's true. We're going to find out.
Because I can't see how to fix it when we're not, I hate to say this on this live stream,
Oh, go ahead.
when you're not willing to lose everything. If it's as bad as it's going to be, if whoever wins, your side loses, you would have to be if that's the God honest truth, then we all need to be willing to lose everything.
If Harris wins, you're gonna lose everything anyways.
No,
Yeah.
but you want to stop it because you wouldn't if you believe that who wins there is a whatever name you want to call it, because they do with the other, I know what the other side calls Trump. How do you not fight that? Literally, like I guess January 6th on steroids.
That's what I'm saying. It would have to go back to this, but it will happen if Trump wins. You will see another January 6th. You will see it because the Democrats or whoever they say they are will rise up,
Right.
On the sides of the highway.
but we don't.
No.
Right.
And that's why I can't handle it. Like listening, because we do listen to the Fox and I'll listen to the other ones too. And look at, okay, you can put out there what you want to put out there and say these things, but what happens? Because there's going to be a day after. And when that day after comes, was this all for nothing?
Right. They say the inflammatory things. So now it's just a matter of
It's time to
what are the people on one side seem to gravitate towards violence as an answer to their, their unhappiness with what's going on. I guess the other side just sits in silence and takes.
You can't vote this away. You'll never vote this away. Voting doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Voting is just fine. Go vote. Yeah, whatever. You vote in New York State, it doesn't even matter because she already won New York State. I don't care less about the popular vote because that does nothing for any of us. But at some point, you're going to have to say, no, voting doesn't work because it just doesn't. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So what's next? And I'd like to figure that out with somebody or all of us. Because what is next? If I'm ready to do something like that, Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't like that.
No.
I don't want to hear that. That makes me, that shakes you up.
Cindy's right. They're so dirty. You can't voice your opinions anymore because all they do is attack you. I rarely comment on anything anywhere. Exactly. And that's,
But
that's what made me,
wrong.
but that's what made me start
Mhm.
being loud and talking about it because I'm sick of them always attacking people.
Because they will attack and again, and I said this to you how many years ago about being politically correct. People are afraid. If I open my mouth, I have to be willing, and that's why I have a big mouth, and that's why I don't give two flying F's what people think about me. I'm not in high school anymore. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'll argue with who I feel like arguing with. I hate when you tell me don't. Well, I don't really care. But if you don't, they are. And you're sitting there going, well, I don't want to say it anymore because people won't like me.
I'm just saying,
Who cares?
say it a little bit nicer.
No, I'm going to say,
have to.
and there you
It's
go with
beyond
the
that.
politically
Maybe
correct
it's
shit.
time to, it's beyond that.
Right.
Revolution hopefully is next, Brittany
You
says.
need to say it the way you have to say it and not care what somebody
Well,
thinks.
depending on what the person says, like if they're being
Right.
such
If
civil
they're
about
being
something,
cordial and
if
civil,
they're-
it's different.
yeah, but if they're being complete assholes, then yeah, fire away.
You're
Go
still
ahead.
going to say it what you got to say. If and you can say it nice, but you still got to say it.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. It's
Well-
depending on how they say it.
But that's how they're going to take it. I could be saying it as nice as I can possibly say it, but they're not going to like what I have to
you
say.
Right, you put like 1,000 question marks in your thing. Like everything you vote,
Exactly.
question marks and excellent hit.
Right. So look at what I'm doing. There you go.
That's great.
And you know what? You don't like me? I don't freaking care. I'm not in high school anymore. I don't care if you
I
like me.
would say,
The only thing is because I'm your daughter and I have to defend you. And I already,
no, you don't.
oh, I do.
She can defend herself. She-
I don't have to defend myself.
Yeah, but I don't care. I have a mouth and I'm going to
No.
talk regardless. I mean,
But
She could go punch an innocent person in the face, and I'm still gonna defend and say why she punched her in the face.
But there goes the being politically correct. If I don't open my mouth and like this girl just said, well, I just don't do it anymore. That's wrong. I don't know you. I'm sorry. But if you're afraid to say what you want to say, then that's part of the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Right.
I don't know
It's
you.
beyond that now.
And I'm not trying to come against you or whoever you are. But if you're afraid to open your mouth, then you're part of the problem.
When I was teaching, I remember there was this vibe going when Trump ran, and some of the teachers on the first floor were they had the resist signs because Trump won, and there was a lot of this, and they used to bring it to the lunchrooms all the time, and the teachers were pissed off. So they knew how I was, they knew how Tony was. That they would sneak up to my room later and say, Jerry, we totally agree with you and Tony about we love Trump too, but we can't say anything. They go crazy on us. They go crazy. And she goes, I wouldn't be able to eat lunch anymore. And I said, well, you got to say, then you fight it.
Well, that's when you make it uncomfortable
For them. Give it back.
Right.
I just say, like, people think they have their opinions, let other people have their opinions too. So.
Well, they don't. And
They
that's when they make people afraid to say anything.
Yeah.
You've got to make it as uncomfortable for them. If I feel uncomfortable with what you just said, then you're going to feel uncomfortable with what I just said. It's going to go right back at you. And I don't care.
Right.
I think
Yeah,
we should
like, I
start
wanna
the
make
new
a shout
party's
out.
name is Citizens United.
I want to make a quick shout out to Danielle Martinez. I've seen that you laughed at one of my mom's comments. Well, everybody go on Danielle Martinez's Facebook and look at her pathetic pole dancing video. And you tell me if that's pole dancing or not. You have no ass, number one, no ass at all to shake. And I don't even know what the hell you were trying to do, but
I don't even know who
it
that is.
was some dumb bitch. Nobody
All
important.
right, okay.
I'm
All
just
right. All right.
All right,
Don't
then.
don't laugh at Gail's post
Because
unless
I
they're
don't,
funny.
I don't care if I know you or not. I'll say what I got to
Just
say.
remember, I've actually witnessed you get beat up before, so.
All those high school days are coming back. Huh?
So we've talked about Proposition 1, which we know we have to vote no against. That's at least one good reason to certainly get out there and vote.
Yeah.
Jared?
I was just gonna say, anybody mention P. Diddy or anything?
I'm so sick of hearing about people.
Oh, all right.
I mean, he's
Is that all
a
done?
piece of shit.
Is that all done now?
No.
They tried blaming Trump right away. We had a mutual friend of ours say about P. Diddy and Trump, and I said, "Listen." And I go like this. He goes to everybody's party. I go, Mar-a-Lago had parties all the time.
Do you know how many pictures were out there with Diddy and Oprah? And I mean,
Yeah.
With Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
So, but that's what they do.
Now, then, whoever said that to you, you need to shut them down and say, you know what? You're an asshole. I'm done with you. Period.
Yeah.
But
Shut them down.
it's just that they don't have they don't come right out and say, I can't stand Trump. They just want to try to pick, what about Trump and this? What
Right.
about Trump and this? Why don't you just come right out and say, I'll never vote for him. I hate him. And then that's okay. Goodbye.
Right.
Goodbye. Go do what you want to do, but get off my, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. The debate, it's beyond debate now.
Yeah.
It's beyond my opinion. It's beyond debate. I don't want to hear it no more.
No.
I don't.
Yeah, no.
You're for that? Actually, here's how I really feel. You're for that? You're an open border and that means you're a sex trafficker. You're doing that. Get the fuck out of my house. You're not
Right.
welcome here anymore. I don't want you here. I don't want you in my life. Whether it's a relative or somebody that I knew as a friend, I don't want. I'm going to spend the rest of my days like this.
Right.
I don't care anymore. I really don't.
Yeah.
Just remember, if you piss me off ever, I'm voting for Kamala.
I thought you already were. You got the same makeup and all that. You know, you look Puerto Rican.
Brittany loved it.
No, Jamaican.
You know what? But she's not a black.
Those earrings and everything. Ooh.
Yeah.
I want her to stand up and say, I am not a black woman. She
She
won't
puts up
do it.
I
Did you
know
hear
why
with the
I
black?
don't know why she's proud to be Indian. Why she doesn't ever
Yeah.
say like I'm a proud Indian woman.
I mean,
Like,
she
why
actually
just
has people
hide-
thinking she's going to go for all the reparations for the black people. She's
Yeah.
not black people.
Right.
Did you hear her talking black at her rallies?
Yeah,
Oh,
Did you hear about
yeah.
the Spanish too? She was trying to be Spanish.
Yeah. You're not black. People, she's not black. If you're going to vote for a black female, this isn't the one to vote for because she's not black.
Right.
There, I said it.
And
You
by,
want a black female? I guess get Michelle Obama.
Yeah,
in
I know,
there.
right?
by the way, the parents the other night were on Fox News of all the girls and women that have been raped and killed. And they said not one phone call from either Joe Biden or Kamala, not one thing to say, we're sorry, nothing, or she goes, they should be on their knees begging forgiveness.
Because
They did it on purpose. That's what I was talking about. That's why I bring up treason. I'm sorry.
that would make
I'm hard
them
on treason.
look like they did something wrong. So why in God's name would they say, you know, I'm
I hate
sorry?
politics.
Me too.
I just can't stand it.
Can't wait for it to
So
end.
I know,
fucking
I can't wait
fake.
for it to be over.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
It
know.
won't be over. That's the problem. It won't be
No,
over.
it won't be
Yeah,
over.
it never ends.
No, because
You gotta go to the store and buy goods from now on. It's not gonna change. You still gotta go buy it. And your cigarettes, you're gonna be 90.
Do you know why it'll never end? Because
If Kamala's willing to lower
They-
the price on Newports.
because it needs to keep going so we can keep donating our money to these two criminal organizations
Right.
that are there. They're the reason.
What would be an ideal situation for you, if you don't mind? How would you do this then?
Ooh.
What type of parties? If you could transform these parties, what would you do?
Probably I'd have no party and everyone would be an individual.
Okay,
Everyone would be
there you go.
independent.
There's your answer.
Everyone.
Individual, just vote.
Yeah, just vote on the
I
person.
like
That's
that.
what I said.
And then
You
the
take the
person,
money right out of it.
that has to happen
Yep.
because that's where it went bad, really bad. If it was bad before, it just
I
blew up.
remember years ago, people I work with go, look at the money that these people get for their campaign. That's why Kamala's in. All the donations that the people put in Hollywood and all that, they couldn't just give it to anybody.
Right.
They had to go to her.
I'm actually
They-
sick of celebrities putting their nose in business. And
Really?
Mhm.
like, shut up. Nobody cares about what you have to say.
Don't
You're
There's
rich,
some good ones.
you're
though.
rich, you can afford everything and anything.
And you know what? Again, going back to what's her face there, the singer
Taylor.
Taylor Swift. She's just a dumb kid, really. All she's doing is doing what she's being told to do.
She got hit hard financially.
She writes about all the mistakes that she made. So people, let's listen to Taylor Swift. I'm gonna write another song about another guy that I screwed up. So listen to me about who you should vote for.
Right.
Oh my freaking God. I can't. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I agree with Noelle though. Like the celebrities don't belong in it. Like if you're you should be taking politics more seriously than to say like, "Ooh, I'm a Taylor Swift fan. I'm gonna vote for Kamala."
Yeah.
Like you should be like this is not whose album you're gonna listen
Right.
to. This is far more important.
People like
than that.
Taylor Swift don't have to suffer like regular people have
Right.
to suffer.
Right. No, they
And then,
don't. They
again,
can't
I'm
relate.
going to go back to the parties though. When the Republicans see Taylor Swift, they got to find theirs. Now they got
Yeah.
to find their version of that person who's going to come out and say, "Oh, well, look at me. I'm for Trump." You know what I mean? It's bullshit. The whole thing is just a ping pong ball
Right.
Yeah.
that we, the media, the people just, they love it. They eat it all up.
Mhm.
So I just, it just pisses me off because I hate it so much. I can't even take it. I cannot I can't stand it.
It's true.
Because you see what's happening. It's almost like a car or a train wreck. I know you can see it. You guys see it. You see what this is.
Mhm.
It's bull. It's whatever.
It's because they feel like go right back to I'm a Democrat. I have to vote Democrat.
Right.
I cannot vote for somebody else because this is who I am. Oh my God.
Right.
Like I said, it kills me. And then
Mhm.
I'm not afraid to be politically correct. I'm not afraid to say what I feel. If you're going to say something, I'm going to say something. I don't
And-
care.
Right.
Everyone out there, this is they're not gonna, should stop. Just register. Get out of the parties right
Mhm.
now. Get out. Go be an independent.
Yeah.
Get out and stop.
Yep.
Just I guess that's one way to stop them if they start losing their, because then they'll lose donors and stuff
Right.
or whatever. But until we stop identifying with them, I think, like you just said, you got to stop identifying as being a Democrat or a Republican because
Yep.
it doesn't really matter who you are because well, first of all, too, it's not a football game. You know what I mean? It's not just red jerseys versus blue.
Yeah.
It's a bigger deal. All right, what do we have here? The celebrities need to shut up. Rosie O'Donnell said she won't respect white women if we don't vote for Kamala.
Who respects Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Who actually cares?
Yeah, right.
Who
Yeah,
actually cares about
And
Rosie
Trump
O'Donnell?
certainly doesn't.
yeah. Her time.
I don't know why.
His favorite.
I don't know why Rosie O'Donnell thinks
Even
that she's
speak.
even
Yeah,
She's
she's
a
not
nobody.
relevant no
She's
more.
been a nobody for
Yeah.
so long.
Yeah.
Why would she even open her mouth now?
she's always been a shit talk.
Yeah. She's a nobody.
All right, we better wrap
We want
up.
to talk about nasty people too.
So last thing before we go, Robin's, do you remember damn it. I don't have the number written down, so I'm a dummy.
No.
Go to my page, and Citizens United page, my own, everyone's page.
Yeah.
We all have it out there. I forgot the phone number to ECMC Transplant Center. It needs to be written down. What an idiot. You know what? I might have it right here. I'm calling myself names. Let me see. Here it is. They don't know.
No.
Here it is. There's the number, 716-898-4931. Robin needs a kidney. And if you call that number and you feel like that you wanted to ever be a donor, please consider it. They'll just give you, they'll send you something in the mail to fill out, and then you send
Share
it
this
back.
number too with others.
Yeah.
Yes, online, on Facebook, I have it. All of us have it. Citizens United has it. Please, if you're not, and if you can't do it, just share it.
Yes.
We had over 136 shares on the first one, so we just
We
keep
need
sharing.
more.
Yeah, we need more. So, I that's it. Robin, hi. Hey, Robin's doing good over here,
Yeah.
but she needs a kidney, and she needs one soon. So, all right, and thanks to Dennis for being with us.
Yeah,
It was a great show. It was a great show
Yeah.
tonight. You guys did good. A lot of people in the message board interacting with us. Next week, I'm not sure. We may have another guest.
Yes.
Possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of people doing stuff. Yeah, we have a lot of people wanting to come on with us and talk. So we'll see what we do. Anything else, Will, that we should talk about? No? Anything that they need to know about anything? Because we don't know. He's still in the same.
Angelo's he has a new car.
It's a
brand new car, gray. And
Ford
he's still out there on Ridge Road living
Okay.
his life, being a rapist. He has a kid now, which is disgusting. So if anybody feels like calling CPS on him, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that should be an automatic.
Yeah.
Almost like immediately. Yeah, I wonder how. I'm curious, how does he even like have, how do you,
He shouldn't even be
Visitation,
allowed
yeah.
to. He's not allowed to be around children or anyone under the age of 18. So why
Halloween's
should he be
coming,
allowed
too.
around his own?
yeah, think about that. Halloween's coming. He doesn't stop people from coming. They can't stop a kid from coming to his door.
They probably just get
Didn't you say you
Right.
put signs on there? Then there's no trespassing or something?
he has no trespassing signs on his
Maybe.
house.
Maybe that'll keep them.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll take them down for.
He should be made to have
Simply-
I am a rapist.
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
his front lawn.
Used to
Like, that's-
do that. That was great. Way
They
back
should
when.
be, they really should be mandated.
In Ohio, when I was a kid in the 80s, I used to tell you I used to go there a lot. And when I had to visit my brother, I used to see those signs when I was a kid. And it was a political sign that said, I am a pedophile. I am a level whatever. And they would have them. They had them. They're banned now, but they had them.
That's too bad.
But no more.
No.
All right, let's get out of here, guys.
2 second.
Good.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. We'll be back next
Bye,
week.
guys.
Bye,
Take care,
everyone.
everyone. Good night.